What's up? So here we have another phenomenal tweet from Conor McGregor, and I have to say, should he run for president and indeed get on the ballot, I will absolutely vote for him, 100%. And you should too, because this is the only guy that has shown over the last number of years that he's going to put the money where the mouth is, and he's very serious about turning the fortunes of this country into something positive. We have brilliant people on the ground, let's not make any bones about that. But what has been missing over the last number of years, and I've said that over the last number of years, is some money, power, and influence. And Conor McGregor is that guy. To try and reject him or try and vilify him is a stupid thing to do, because you're going to be waiting a very long time before someone that you might be interested in is going to come forward. That's the facts. Now, I know that there are two videos that people are trying to use against Conor McGregor. Now, whether it is something that you have a problem with Conor McGregor, or you don't like him, or whatever it might be, but these are the two videos that people are trying to use as a gotcha for Conor McGregor. The first one is a video of him at a UFC event wearing the poppy. Now, for some reason, people think that that's a big problem, whereas they don't see a big problem between the likes of Leo Varadkar and Michal Martin going over to the likes of Davos and meeting very shady individuals over there. That's not an issue. Don't worry about that. They don't worry about the doll welcoming in Joe Biden with the numerous allegations that are behind him. That's not a problem at all. They're not worried about Mary Lou McDonald, Michelle O'Neill, and various other people here in the Irish government. In fact, not too long ago, I did a video where Simon Harris was congratulating and fawning over King Charles. They're not worried about that. Don't worry about that. They're not worried about the Irish government welcoming in Keir Starmer and going to football games with him and conversing with him on the phone all the time. Not worried about that. They're worried about Conor McGregor wearing a poppy. Stupid. Because you'll say nothing when it comes to Roy Keane wearing one. That's it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, the second video is Conor McGregor at the beginning of the lockdowns calling for a lockdown. Now, you know as well as I do that those times were clearly out of the ordinary. We were treated to a worldwide media engaging in a psyop like never we've seen before, and they've overstepped the mark, which has led us to where we are right now, which a lot of people have woken up because of what they did, because it was so blatant and obvious. Because once the first 2 weeks rolled on and people understood what was going on, it was very easy to determine what they were doing. So there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, look at the video that he did. There's lots of people that did and said silly things. No one's been held accountable for that. COVID inquiry in this country, go nowhere. So, again, if you know someone that has gone with the suddenlies, has passed away recently with the suddenlies, has had a turbo cancer, be something that's been levelled at them, or a heart problem, or indeed has had a heart problem over the last couple of years, where's your anger and determination as to finding out what happened to those people and holding the correct people responsible for that? But no. You'd be more interested in a guy calling for a lockdown who then later on went on record and said that places needed to be reopening. It was unbelievable what was going on. It was wrong. Let's not forget he was part of an organisation in the UFC that was the first sports organisation to reopen and just plough on as things were. So those two things that people want to try and level at him are ridiculous, to say the very most. Because this is a guy that has shown you clearly on multiple occasions that he's up for this country, he's trying to do the right thing, and negative thinking with regards to those, you just have to push them aside for the time being and realise what we are dealing with right now, which is you are having a hissy fit be thrown, and I say hissy fit because these people aren't very masculine on the other side, thrown about Conor McGregor potentially running for president. The meltdown that has happened should be enough to convince you that he's the right guy. They've gone absolutely apoplectic over him. That's a good thing. When you see the apparatus in a panic like that, that's a very positive thing. So, I've also seen as well the comments be bandied about and negative thinking of, but he won't get the votes, but he won't get the support from the people in the areas that he needs it. Okay, well look at it like this. If a multimillionaire with various connections, fame and power can't obtain votes to get into the position on the ballot, just alone, does that then not show you that we do not have a democracy here in this country? Now, I know people have their favourites, they have their preferred person, they have their preferred and ideal individual that they would have run for this position, but that's not coming anytime soon. I'm just being honest with you, and that's how it is. We can wax lyrical about who's the right person to run for this position, but without those things behind them, it's a moot point because the machine will just grind them out. And I'm saying that because that's the truth and people need to hear it. You need somebody with power, money, and also high status connections. I'm with you on the point that we should have someone that is going to absolutely turn the screw on the establishment and is someone that we should be absolutely 100% behind in terms of what they are thinking. I hear that point. But the reality of the situation is that's not happening anytime soon. And like I said, if you have someone with all of the attributes of Conor McGregor with what he has at his disposal, be denied, what sort of hope do we have for our ideal person? Because our ideal person is going to get treated the same way like this, and they're just going to be chewed up and spat out, and they won't go about this the same way he's going to go about it. He's going to talk about this a lot. So that's just where we're at before we get into the tweet, and I just want to say that to you because people seemingly do not understand where we're at right now, and that is beggars cannot be choosers as things stand. And what you got to do is you got to support the guy that's saying, if you don't agree with 100% of what he's saying, you might agree with 20% of what he's saying, but you don't agree with what Micheál Martin, Leo Varadkar, Simon Harris, Mary Lou McDonald and all are saying. You're at 0% with them. I'd rather go with the 20% than the 0%. Do you get me? I'm behind what he's saying here, that 100%. I have to be honest with you when I'm saying that. What we have here is Conor McGregor, and he says, there is no party in Ireland today that has not been swayed by the treasure trove that is this government's human trafficking racket. By money or by votes, these parties have all folded in and are in bed with this system in one way or another. I am the only one who can do this. My money is infinite, my heart is gold. Two hugely important points there, I just want to point that out. God has chosen me for my country and I have answered. Brilliant. I love that comment. I will run, I will stop this. I am for the people of Ireland. I will awaken a vote that has never before been counted. I will secure votes of every citizen aware of and affected by this ticking time bomb, population replacement, money racket. As God as my witness, real Ireland will win this battle. How can you disagree with that? If you're on this side of the fence in particular, how can you disagree with that? Fully in support of what he's saying here. So this comes from Late Stage Ireland, this comes from Telegram, and that's ain't two there. There's Patriots being. And you'll remember there not too long ago, a video was posted there by Patrick Quinlan, Councillor Patrick Quinlan, about what was happening and trying to find out the amount of houses that were being given to foreign entities, and he was denied. And that was one of Aintu's main people that was deciding to chastise a fellow member of Aintu for supporting Councillor Patrick Quinlan in what was a very milquetoast question. So what we have here is this. Turns out Aintu's candidate for Boyle in the local elections, Fayez Al-Sani, works as the Refugee Resettlement and Integration Support Officer at the Abbeyfield Hotel in Ballaghaderreen, mentioned at 3:30 in this clip. That's the hotel that the Syrian from Jordan, who said he takes in €500 a week in welfare, stays in while his council house is being prepared. The more you know. So there you go, guys. That's Aintu. And that's after being exposed there now, which is phenomenal to see. But ultimately, I'm just circling it right back here to the man himself and Conor McGregor. That's important that that's been shown and that's been spoken about. How can you disagree with what he's saying here? And he's right. He's absolutely correct here. So, to me, it's a very simple choice. This guy is saying all the right things. The establishment are going to continue doing the wrong things. Are you going to continue voting for a career lawyer and supporting career lawyers who've done nothing but make your life worse and the lives of future generations worse? Or are you going to give a guy a chance that's been saying the right things for the last number of years, consistently and consecutively? I tell you what, I'm throwing the support behind Conor McGregor. I'm happy to do that. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.